Okay. Yeah, I think we all kind of get it right. Like we look at the pyramids and it's just, wow, these massive things from so long ago. And
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't stared at a picture of the pyramids and thought about, all the mysteries buried down there?
exactly. So much we don't know, and that's why this recent announcement about about findings under the Pyramid of Khafre.
Oh.
Um,
Oh, yeah, the Caffrey thing?
yeah, it really caught my eye. So much buzz, lots of head scratching. March 15th, 2025, right? That's when the news really broke.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And that's what we're going to look at today, right?
Mhm.
Like, what exactly are people claiming? And is there any, evidence to support all this excitement? Is this the real deal or what? We're taking a deep dive, folks,
Yeah, a deep dive.
into, a
Yeah.
bunch of different sources, actually. So let's get into it.
Yeah, I think that's really what we're here to do, right? Like, get into these claims and, really try to sort through everything. We've got the initial announcement, the methods they say they used, what the experts are saying, and even looked into, like how reliable some of the information floating around even is.
Cool.
A lot to unpack.
Okay, so first off then, who's making this announcement? What are their names, and what are they saying they found?
Right. So the guys behind this are Corrado Malanga. He's from the University of Pisa.
Okay.
And Filippo Biondi. He's at the University of Strathclyde.
Yeah.
So they came out with this on March 15th, 2025, through a press release, and they did a presentation at a conference in Bologna, Italy.
Italy, wow.
Yeah, and the conference, get this, it was called Giza, le piramidi e la porta del tempo. So that translates to Giza, the pyramids, and the door of time.
Door of Time, all right. Sounds kind of dramatic,
A
right?
little bit, yeah. And this was organized by a group called Archaeology.
No?
And there's a video presentation from the event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's up on YouTube. You can even find versions with subtitle.
Wow, cool. So, okay, so what was the big bombshell they dropped? What were they saying they found that got everybody so worked up?
The big claim is they say they've discovered a huge underground complex, like a whole system of structures way down below the Khafre pyramid. And the way they supposedly found this was with SAW.
SAR.
Yeah, synthetic aperture radar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when they say structures, what kind of structures are we talking about? What's the radar supposedly showing?
All right. So according to them, this SAR data shows 5 identical structures, and these are near the base of the Khafre pyramid. They describe them as having 5 horizontal levels, inclined roofs,
Mm.
and they're all connected with like geometric pathways.
Wow, so like a network or something.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea.
That's pretty detailed. I mean, they're really painting a picture here.
They are.
And then there were those really deep shafts, right? Like super deep. I remember reading about that.
Yeah, that's the other big piece of this. They're saying they've detected 8 vertical shafts, hollow and cylindrical, going down as far as 648 meters.
Wow, that's deep.
It is like insanely deep.
Wow.
And these are laid out in 2 parallel rows going north to south with these, get this, descending spiral paths around them.
Spiral paths. Wow, it's like something out of like Indiana Jones or something.
Why? And then it gets even wilder.
What do you mean?
They're saying these shafts all join up
Join up with what?
with 2 massive cubic structures.
Cubic structure.
Yeah, and they estimate these are something like 80 meters on each side.
80 meters. That's like I don't even know, like a city block or something.
Yeah, it's huge.
Right.
So basically, if what they're saying is accurate,
Yeah.
this whole system is like 2 kilometers long, and they think it might even stretch under all 3 pyramids at Giza.
Wow. I mean, like a whole world down there. It's a pretty amazing thought. Oh, yeah, definitely. So I'm curious, though, because I remember reading about some pretty unusual explanations for what all this stuff might be.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what were they saying?
So this is where things get really, kind of out there. They're saying this could be some kind of mechanical system or maybe something to do with generating energy.
Okay.
And they even start throwing around names like Nikola Tesla and his ideas about earth frequencies. And then there's Christopher Dunn, who talks about ancient power plants. And even Joseph Farrell, who has this whole theory about scalar weapons.
Wow, scalar weapons. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's pretty fringe stuff.
So they're basically saying the ancient Egyptians were like super technologically advanced.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe they're giving off.
Wow, that's a big claim.
It is.
And I think there was something about a specific frequency, like sound frequency or something, tied into all of this.
Yeah, they brought up the 648 hertz
This
frequency
is a 42 hertz.
and linked it to, supposed health benefit.
Health benefits
Yeah.
from a sound frequency.
Yeah, no, it's a bit much. And there are actually groups out there like Meditation Sounds Academy and Positive Energy Academy promoting this sort of thing. But, we got to be clear here. There's absolutely no archaeological evidence to back up these interpretations about energy generation or special frequencies. I mean, these are just hypotheses they're throwing out.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning then. How did they supposedly discover all of this? You mentioned SAR, synthetic aperture radar, earlier. How does that even work? Were there any immediate questions or concerns about using it in this context?
Yeah, so the specific technique is called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography.
Doppler tomography, wow.
Yeah, it's a more advanced type of SAR that analyzes tiny movements caused by natural seismic waves, and it processes images from satellites like the Italian Cosmo SkyMed second generation.
Okay.
Then on top of that, Filippo Biondi, he claims to be using his own special software.
Oh, his own software.
Yeah, that converts these radar signals into what they call phonic information. So basically, they're looking for like millimeter level vibrations.
That sounds super complicated.
It does, right?
So they're trying to listen for the pyramids or something?
Kind of, yeah.
Wow.
But here's the thing. Remember, they did publish a study back in 2022 using similar methods, but that was on the Great Pyramid.
Yeah.
It was published in a peer-reviewed journal called Remote Sensing, but
What?
that research was all about internal structures, like inside the pyramid itself, not a massive complex stretching out kilometers under the ground.
Bro.
That's a huge difference in scale.
Yeah, totally. And in depth too, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the big red flags people are raising. Can SAR really penetrate like 648 meters down and give you reliable data?
That's crazy deep.
It is, and most experts are pretty skeptical. You see, there's a lot of potential for error, what they call artifacts, like variations in the soil, groundwater, even just electronic noise.
Right.
All that can get mistaken for actual structures in the data.
So it's like, I don't know, like trying to see through like muddy water or something. The deeper you go, the blurrier it gets.
No. Exactly. That's a great analogy. And then they mentioned using muon spectroscopy, too.
Muon spectroscopy. What's that?
It's it's been used in pyramid research for a while, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, since 1968, they put detectors in the Belzoni chamber of the Great Pyramid. Basically, muons are these subatomic particles that can go through solid rock.
Wow.
And by tracking them, researchers can figure out the density of whatever the muons are passing through.
Cool.
But the thing is, even with this muon stuff, and it's a more established technique, even that wasn't showing clear evidence of these huge underground structures they're talking about.
So even their own data, isn't really backing them up.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression you get. And they mentioned some other shaft systems like Pozzo di San Patrizio in Italy and Derinkuyu in Turkey,
Okay.
saying they're similar, but they didn't actually give any, links or evidence to connect them. It felt kind of like, oh, and by the way, these other places have shacks too.
Yeah, a little hand wavy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, we've got these claims, we've got the methods, and it sounds like there are already some big questions about the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But what about the real experts? Have any archaeologists come out and said, yeah, this is legit?
Not really. No, it's actually been the opposite.
What do you mean?
Pretty much all the mainstream archaeologists are saying, hold on, this doesn't add up.
Really?
Yeah, and one of the most vocal critics is Dr. Zahi Hawass. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Oh, yeah, he's like the big name in Egyptian archaeology, right?
Yeah, exactly. He was even the Minister of Antiquities for a while.
Wow.
And he gave an interview to the Express Tribune.
Okay.
And he basically said straight up that these findings are completely wrong.
Completely wrong. Wow.
Yeah. And he was adamant that the techniques they're using are just not scientifically accepted for this kind of, large-scale underground detection.
So he's basically saying these guys don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And his main point was, there have been tons of studies at Giza over the years. Yeah.
Using all kinds of different methods like muon tomography, gravimetry, regular ground-penetrating radar, all that stuff.
Right.
And none of them, not a single one, has ever found any hint of something this big under the pyramids.
That's a good point. I mean, if it was really there, you'd think someone would have noticed by now.
Right. And there's something else that's missing.
What's that?
Peer review.
Peer review?
Yeah, they keep mentioning a research article that's coming out.
Yeah.
But as of today, March 27th, 2025, it's not published in any reputable journal.
So no one's had a chance to really check their work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal in science.
Yeah.
It's like announcing you solved a math problem but not showing anyone your calculations.
Right.
Peer review is how scientists make sure the research is, solid.
Makes sense.
And without it, these claims are basically just, well, claims.
So yeah, red flag, big time.
Definitely.
And I think there was more too, wasn't there? Like other stuff that made this whole thing seem a little fishy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like what? Well, Snopes, the fact-checking website, they looked into it
Yeah.
and they couldn't find any solid evidence to back up the discovery.
Wow.
And they also pointed out that Karada Malanga, one of the researchers, he's kind of known for being into some pretty fringe theories.
Oh, like what?
UFOs, alien abductions, that kind of stuff.
Really? Okay, so not exactly a mainstream scientist then.
Not exactly, no.
So that's not a great look.
No, not really.
And what about the pictures? Weren't there some pictures going around supposed to be of these underground structures?
Yeah, and this is where it gets really interesting. Or maybe, like, worrying.
How so?
Well, there's this service called Hive Moderation,
Okay.
and they specialize in detecting AI-generated content, like fake images,
Right.
and they analyze that popular picture of the supposed underground structures,
Yeah.
and they say there's a 99.9% chance it's fake, made by AI.
Oh, wow. So basically they're just making stuff up.
It really looks that way, yeah.
That's wild.
It is. I mean, if you can't even trust the images they're showing, then what can you trust?
Yeah, that's a huge problem.
It really is.
So you're telling me they're claiming to find this massive underground complex with all this crazy technology, and they're using fake pictures to back it up.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
I mean, are they trying to trick people or something?
It's hard to say for sure, but it definitely raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, no kidding.
And to contrast that, there was a legitimate discovery near the Great Pyramid.
Well, yeah, what was that?
Back in May 2024, they found this L-shaped structure only about 6.5 feet underground.
Okay.
It was connected to a deeper anomaly, probably sand or gravel. But
Wow.
the key here is this was reported in Smithsonian Magazine and published in a peer-reviewed journal, Archaeological Prospection.
So legit science.
Exactly. And it involved real institutions, the University of Tohoku, the National Research Institute of Astronomy and Geophysics of Egypt.
So all the right credentials.
Yeah, and they used accepted methods, published their findings, the whole 9 yards.
And the other guys are just putting out press releases and making YouTube videos.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. It's like night and day.
It really is. You see, this is how real archaeology works. It's slow, it's careful, and it's all about verifying everything.
Yeah, I get it.
So, yeah, big contrast.
Okay, so what about this Khafre project I kept seeing mentioned? Was that a real thing? Like an official research project?
To be honest, it's hard to find any concrete information on that.
What do you mean?
Well, they have a YouTube channel,
Okay.
and that conference in Bologna did happen.
Right.
And Filippo Biondi, he's on LinkedIn posting about the discovery.
Well,
But people have tried to contact him, like other researchers, asking for more details, and,
Right.
and he's not responding.
oh, it's not good.
Not really, no. It's like they're not really interested in engaging with the scientific community.
Yeah, that's super weird.
Oh.
So even the media, I mean, the ones that reported on this, they were pretty skeptical too, right?
Yeah, even the Daily Mail, which isn't exactly known for being super cautious, they were saying, look, this is interesting, but we need actual excavations to prove anything.
Right, you got to dig to see what's really down there.
Exactly. And they also pointed out that getting permission to excavate at Giza, good luck with that.
Yeah, that's like a whole other level of like bureaucracy and politics.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So what about everyone else? Like regular people online, what are they saying?
Well, on places like greggrease.substack.com and X, it's kind of a mixed bag, Some people are super excited. They're like, this is amazing, ancient technology.
Right.
But then others are like, hold on, this is way too deep, the methods are iffy, and where's the peer-reviewed research?
Makes sense. So to sum it all up, what's the verdict on this whole underground complex thing? Is it real or what?
Okay, so here's the bottom line.
Yeah.
It was a splashy announcement, got everyone talking.
Yeah.
But when you look at the actual evidence and what the experts are saying, it's just not convincing. No peer-reviewed research. Dr. Hawass saying it's completely wrong, big doubts about SAR, working at those depths, the fake pictures. It all adds up to a big we don't know.
So basically, it's possible, but probably not true.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, right? And we just don't have that evidence here.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. Another reminder to, Always think critically, especially when it comes to, like, amazing discoveries and ancient mysteries.
Exactly.
It's so easy to get caught up in the excitement, but you got to step back and look at the sources, the methods, the evidence.
Absolutely.
We all love a good mystery,
Oh, yeah.
but it's important to know the difference between a cool idea and, like, actual verified knowledge.
For sure.
So yeah, keep that in mind as you keep exploring the past and keep asking questions.
Definitely. That's what it's all about.
The deep dive never ends, folks.
Well, never it.
Till next time.
See you then.